Hello everyone and welcome to the another tips and tricks. In this one I choose to explain about audio spectrum, which is quite interesting. There is tons of things that you can learn in this lesson, and I have created a podcast for horizontal, vertical, and square. A square for example, Instagram, and about podcast vertical for shorts and stories on YouTube or whatever that you want, and the horizontal for YouTube videos, which is quite interesting. First of all, I want to say I have created a setting for these three composition. For instance, if I let's say if I change the vocalist, for example, let's call it inside motion. If I change this one, all the compositions, the vocal will change to inside motion. As you can see, inside motion, and if I change, for instance, the color from let's say light blue to something red, I don't know, for example this one, all the details will change to red, and this is quite interesting to create posts and stories, shorts, and so on. I want to start with the setting, which is great to know. I created a new composition, and I called it setting, right? I write down book name, vocalist, pop-up, and color 1, color 2, and cover. I set the actual size of cover here because I want to see when I change the book color or podcast color or podcast cover, I want to see what is going on here. If the cover is outside the range, I can fix it here. So if I change the size, all the podcasts size will change. And I write down book name, vocalist, pop-up, and I lock them because I don't want to have access to them. But these guys, I want to change them in the future. And about the color, this is the preview and the cover as well. For example, for about the inside motion. First of all, I have created the podcast horizontal, and at the end, I duplicate in three parts: horizontal, vertical, and square, right? For the podcast in horizontal, I want to let you know some details about the text. If you open up the setting here and go to source text, I simply typed here comp setting, means this comp setting dot layer number 3. This one is number 3 for me. You can rename it, I don't know, to whatever that you want, and I set it number 3. If I change the number in here, I should change number 3, and then I put dot and text, source text. Source text means go and bring the text here, as you see in the setting, right? And I did to all of them, to 4 of them. And for about the color, I want to say, okay, in podcast spectrum, I have created color here. Let me select it for color gradient. This is my background color. If hit F3, you will see the FX control here, and I add I add expression for it. If you bring it up and go to the color number 1, for example, source, you can see I again typed here comp setting, means this comp setting layer, and you can write like mine. And if this is hard for you to do it, leave this open, go to setting, and for instance, let's go to color number. Let's go to color controller. I create adjustment. If you right click here on the adjustment layer, go to expression controller, you can add a color controller. And I add fill here and I rename them to book color and dark color. And you can lock this one here. And if you go to, for instance, go to this layer or any layers that there is color on it, you can use the let's say pick whip and drag and drop. Drag it to the layer that you want to parent. In this case I did like this. For instance, for the color red, I parent this one to this color. If you open it up, you can see you have the same as mine. And for about the dark color, I did it same. You can unlock it from here because we don't need it. And I want to talk about this design, which is quite minimalistic and beautiful. First, I created a background. If I go to the podcast spectrum, you can see the background here. I place the background without any, let's say, without any effects on it, and I leave it on its own, and I create another solid and I add 4 color gradients. I change the color as I wanted before, and I add adjustment layer and I add noise HLS. Noise HLS create a noise, instant noise without moving. If you add noise, your file would be huge and it's pretty hard to render and have a ramp preview on it. And I tried in this example, I tried to reduce the render timing and ramp preview to see better what am I doing. For instance, for about the particles, if you add a solid and add a particle, your file would be really huge, and that's pretty hard to have a ramp preview on your project. So I rendered for about, let's say, 700 frames of my particle, and I import it into the project panel as let me bring it up for you. Let's go to podcast footages and particles. As you can see, I have 710 items. This is particle. I export my particle as transparent because my podcast sometimes might be more than 3 hours, so it's really huge to have a solid and a particle system on it. So I rendered as a PNG sequence. Let me show you how it looks. If go to render, here you can click on high quality. Let me bring up the out module setting, and I change the channel to alpha and select OK, and I set a directory for it, right? After that, I rendered and I bring up my sequence as a PNG sequence. If you click PNG sequence, you can bring up all this file as a layer. And I bring it here, and let's go back to podcast spectrum. As you can see, I after for about 5 or 6 seconds, I had a cut on my particle system. I mean the layer, the PNG sequence. And if you press E on the layer, you can see the expression. And after 6 seconds, I cut it in two parts. Then I right click on the layer, and I turn on enable time ramping. If you enable time ramping, your example would be like this. I mean the keyframe is in the beginning. You need to add a keyframe here and remove the first one. If you don't remove it, as to start with, it looks like this one. I mean the particles will start again one more time. So you need to add a keyframe and remove the first keyframe here. And for here, I simply typed loop out and cycle, right? I set it to cycle. If you drag and drop the sequence, your sequence isn't like mine, you should add, set the mode to add, to have the particle as a transparent. So I don't need my particle system for about half an hour. It's really huge. So I add my particle system here. As you can see, this is a loop out. I want to show you my podcast. This is the podcast.
If you want to create or start a brand new podcast this year and you have no idea where to begin, well, I'm so glad you found this video because I've been able to help dozens.
Okay, for now, I want to talk about this audio spectrum. Let me bring up the audio spectrum composition again. In this part, first I created a null for my particles because for my spectrum, because I want to move them pretty easy. For example, if I move this one, you can move them all. And first of all, I have created this one, my audio spectrum. And if you go to effects and presets, search for audio spectrum, you can drag and drop to the layer that you want. This is a solid layer. And I changed some details here. For instance, start frequency, I put it to 60 because I want to have the same in the left and the end. And about the end frequency, 350 in my case, it depends on you, you can change it. And the frequency band for mine is 4000 because I want to have, I wanted to feel all of the frequency bands between them. And about the height, 4000 again, you can set it more and even lower. And about audio duration, I set it to 200. You can change the thickness to 3 and softness to 50. It depends on you. If you just set it to 100, it's gonna be really you have a softness edges, and if you move it to 0, this is a hard edge. I set it to 50 for this example. You can change the color as you wish, and I selected white, and I duplicated 2 times with the original one, which is 3. For the second one, I set it to 50 opacity. Then I right click on it and I went to transform, and I selected flip, I guess horizontal if I don't make mistake, and I swapped it from left to right. So if you see this part, the lower opacity is the same as the right side. And about the last one, I set the opacity to 24, but in this one, in this layer, I set the reaction to the background music. You can change the audio layer to the background music. Here is the music. And about this one, as you see, it is vocal. And at the end, I want to show you something which is quite interesting. I placed music here and vocal. I renamed both of them to music and vocal. And here I created a folder for it, music and the vocal. I exported the final file. If you go to file and go to dependencies and select collect file, it says, okay, save your file and let me know any directory. When you export as mine, you will have something like this. I saved this one as an example to the desktop, and if you save it, you're gonna have like mine. And if you go to footage, you have image of the cover of the book and music and the vocal. If you want to change the music, you can download any music that you want, just rename it and copy paste to this folder. And it says, do you want to replace it? And you're gonna say yes. And for images, you can rename any photos as an image and copy it here. You can see what is the difference inside the After Effects. Okay, let me do it. I have a cover here, for instance, this one. I'm gonna copy it to desktop first. Let me rename it. Let's say it is capital sensitive, be careful. Let's call it image. Again, copy it and go to the podcast, footage, images, and here. If you paste it, it says, do you want to replace it? And yes, okay, I want to replace. If you go back to setting, you can see the cover changed here. So all the covers changed immediately. And about the music, again, you can do it as same. For instance, if you go to setting, you can change the color. I set an adjustment layer in upper left. No one knows there's an adjustment layer, but if you click it, you can see it. Go to effects and preset control, so you can, for instance, select this color, and you can change the color to the cover of the books. And to have a duplicate in vertical and square, I select this one. I went to project and I highlight the horizontal. There is a let's say scripts or I don't know, a plugin. You can search it on Google and download it for your After Effects. It is called TrueComp Duplicator. Let me bring it up here. When you highlight this layer, and you need to check the search and type the comp name exactly like the horizontal. For mine, this is vertical because I duplicate to a square. So yours would be podcast, for example, horizontal. Replace it with new one. If you do it and add duplicate selected, oh, don't forget to tick the update expressions because we need the expressions of our horizontal example, and select duplicate selected, right? After that, you will have another comp with another comps inside. So if you change any details of the square, for instance, or vertical, the horizontal won't change anything. And that's it. I hope this one is useful for you. I would really appreciate it if you like this video, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. Your help will help this channel running. Without your help, it's really hard to move on. And I hope you liked it, and I hope you're gonna subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest.